Thank you. In the summer of 1982, 83, and 84, my girlfriend Renee and I rented a cabin in upstate New York in Crumville. Krumville. Howie and Francine, landlord and landlady, couldn't have been nicer. The price was right. They said we could rent it every year. The only problem with it was, as I saw it, there was no water. So I began this search for flowing water in the neighborhood, and I came upon the Esopus River, I would call it. They call it a creek off Route 28. The only problem, as I saw it, as I still do see it, with the river was the tubers. And in case you don't know what tubers are, they are great oversized men, women, and children that float down that river in herds on weekdays, hordes on weekends, in these great oversized truck inner tubes with 6 packs of Budweiser in their laps, drinking all the way. If they haven't got a room for the beer, they rent an extra tube and put fish netting in it and drop the 6 packs down in there and trail them behind them. In fact, one time when Renee and I took a hike, the only hike we ever took up Mount Tremper, fighting all the way up and all the way down. We were coming down off that mountain. It was a beautiful summer day. It was like a commercial. It was so beautiful. And we stepped into that clear river. An ice cold can of unopened Budweiser just came floating by. Renee just reached out, took it, popped it, and chug-a-lugged it down. We were thinking of selling it to the Budweiser people, you know, as an ad, you know, young yuppie couple steps out of mountain, this Bud's for you type of situation. But we didn't. Instead, I got obsessed with the idea of property and ownership. I wasn't married, I didn't have a family. I thought maybe if I owned my own home, I would feel like an adult. Also, I began to have these dreams of houses with rooms, recurrent dreams of houses with rooms. Like one of the houses, like a house I grew up in. I was living in a loft in Soho. I thought that's what I wanted, one big room. And now I was dreaming of houses with rooms. Rooms that you go into to cook, another room you might go into to sleep, another room you might go into to read, watch television, lie down, or do nothing, and close the door behind you. Houses with rooms. And I was determined to find one and buy one. I was looking for the perfect $30,000 house. And I started out looking with this real estate agent. She and I had this great relationship. We'd usually go out on weekends, and we'd go look at all these houses. Now, as we started doing it, I began to realize that what I was really doing with her was I was more interested in what was going on in the houses when we got in. The little domestic scenes we interrupted, what were the kids doing, the tchotchkes on the wall, what kind of paintings they had, you know, and then we go on to the next house, and I begin to describe to her what I noticed in the last house. It became like this ongoing soap opera, and I just wanted to go up and see the insides of houses, you know. She was having a ball, but, you know, finally she had to stop because she was a professional, you see. And, she had to try to sell me something, so she could see the houses weren't going, so she tried to sell me property, you know, maybe taught me into building the perfect house. So she showed me 80 acres. And I go charging in there. Oh, I felt like a pioneer. My heart was in my throat. I was going ahead looking for certain borders, and I began to notice it. And I said, look at this beautiful land. I will turn it into an art park. You know, let my friends from Soho come up and wander through it to meditate, you see, and do it as a tax write-off. And as I get further into it, I don't know if this happens to you, but every time I see something that I think I want, I cross a crowded room, and then I get it. It's like, it reaches out and strangles me. So the further into the woods I'm getting, the more I'm looking down and seeing these imperfections. Like, what is all this dead wood doing on the ground? I have never been in the woods and noticed so many dead trees. Would I have to pick those up? Oh, what about lightning insurance? Can you get insurance for lightning? What about the hunters when they come through in autumn? Wait a minute. What if the gypsy moths come back next year when they're not supposed to come back? Can you imagine owning 80 denuded acres? I just got out of there. So after about 2 years of going out with this woman, this real estate woman, I began to feel guilty, I began to feel like I was going steady with no intentions of marriage. And I switched to a real estate man. He was nice enough. He smoked a cigar. I don't know if you've ever experienced this. You think one real estate agent knows the territory, you get another, and they know all these new nooks and crannies. We're driving west on Route 28. He turns left over this metal bridge, down this long little cul-de-sac that goes a little dead-end road right into the crotch of the Catskills. And he parks in front of this little Adirondack-style cabin, which is up on a knoll. I would have to describe the landscape as kind of overgrown chunks, with a willow tree out front. We go in, we interrupt this incredible domestic Sunday scene. The kids are running around playing hide and seek. Mom is trying to turn blueberry pancakes with 2 teaspoons because she's lost her spatula, Everything stops and freezes like I'm the local undertaker. And they stare at me, and the guy, the real estate agent, takes me into the corner. In his cigar-y breath, he says, "Listen, I think we can get this cheap. I think we can get it for $26,500. His older daughter has to have an emergency kidney operation or she'll die." I don't want any part of that karma. And as I'm going out, I look across and see this other little Adirondack-style cabin, and my heart goes out to it. I mean, it's like the little house that cried. I look across and see the screens are ripped, the windows are kind of ratty. I know that it hasn't been lived in a long time, and I begin heading out for it. And the real estate agent says, "Nope, Mr. Gray, no, back here, please. Stay away from that." And I'm going, "Oh, really? Why? No, please. Look, that's not on the market. Wish I could help you. The husband and wife, I don't know, they're getting divorced, they're separating. One wants to sell 1 year, the next doesn't want to sell. They can't make up their mind it's not on the market. I'm sorry to tell you if it was." So winter came to the Catskills, as it often does. And somewhere midwinter, I came upon this ad for a small Adirondack-style cabin in the heart of the Catskills, $35,000. Fantastic. I can't believe it. It's being sold by the owner, not a real estate agent. His name is Johnny Delfredo. He lives in Queens, and he wants to sell me the house. He's sure that I'm the right one for it. I asked him, "Listen, what's the landscaping like?" He said, "Well, we've kept it natural. We like to call it a kind of hill and dale affair. You must see it," he says. And he wants to show it to me, but his car is in the repair shop, so it's going to be a little while. Well, I can't wait to see it. I think from the description he's given me that this is actually the little house that cried. We borrow a car and drive up. The house is locked. Renee finds this rusty saw on the front porch, breaks in, wedges it between the latch and the door jamb. Boom, it opens. There's this one central room in this small cabin. It's wall-to-wall linoleum pattern linoleum, The furniture is, I would have to describe it as kind of Sears Roebuck, Amway, Ethan Allen motif, A couple of big, giant, bald eagle Ethan Allen lamps on either side of this gold-speckled Castro convertible couch. A big blonde hi-fi with about 100 dusty, easy listening records. Les Paul and Mary Ford, The Whole World is Waiting for the Sunrise with a polka beat. Mouse shit everywhere under God Bless Our Home signs in every language. All right, over here to this area is a cooking area, a kitchen. I would call it a kitchen. It's not a room that you can close the door, but it's got the refrigerator and the stove. Over here, the fireplace made from stones from the Esopus Creek. Then, best of all, out back, like a Goldilocks afterthought kind of situation, 3 rooms. I mean, they look kind of like closets. The only way you could tell the mass of the closet, it had a double bed in it. So you had that one, you could close the door, and then the next room had a single bed in it, and the third room had no beds in it. And I thought, this is exactly the room that I would close the door and write the great American novel. And all the time, Renee, because she knows the house is not perfect, is chanting over my shoulder, "Remember, you can change the house, but you can't change the location. And you can change the house, but you can't change the location." I rushed out to see the location, and it was fantastic. The only problem was the foundation. There really wasn't one. I mean, it was kind of cinder block that had caved in, you know, and the house was dropping down dangerously close to the earth. Renee had her Polaroid and took a few close-ups of the foundation problem. Also took some beautiful shots of the house right on with a porch and everything. And we drove back down to the city, and I kept those Polaroids in my desk drawer. And every time I thought about buying that house, every time I thought about it, I'd just take them out and look at them and think, look at that sweet little thing. It's not quite a house. It's not quite a cabin. God, how could that give me any problems? It's amazing how you can mistake a Polaroid for a house, or for your girlfriend or boyfriend. And I put it back in the drawer. So all the time, Johnny Delfredo, the owner of the house, is calling me up. When can we go up? When can we go up? You know, he wants to know when can we go up. So I make an agreement. His car is out of the shop. We're to meet at the corner of West Broadway and Canal Street. He says, it's a lovely, beautiful day. He said, look for me. I'm driving a 69 two-tone red and white Cadillac. So he arrives. You can't miss him. I walk out. He's about 54 years old. Maybe a toupee. I don't know. I never can tell. A couple of gold Stex chains around his neck. We get in the car and we're off. And the first thing he does is ask me, what do I do for a living? So I chose writer that day. And he says, good, we'll have a lot to talk about. I'm an artist myself. I'm a florist in Queens. So we're off. No sooner do we get into Jersey than he tells me his tragic life story, as people often want to do, why he's selling the house. It's kind of a contemporary, bucolic story of Joe. Everything was going fine. He had a lovely wife and 3 daughters. They would summer up there every summer. In the autumn, he would hunt with his buddies. In the winter, he would ski because the house was winterized. Very important, the house was winterized. And one winter, he was skiing and felt this ripping, tearing sound. And he looked out and saw the ski was headed in the wrong way. He had broken his right leg in 3 places. He wanted to get to the best doctor possible very quickly. So he goes to Albany, to the man that invented the shin pin. Only the man that invented the shin pin was 54 years old when he invented it, and now he was 80 and senile. He proceeds to put into Johnny's leg what he refers to as a kind of nut and bolt affair in 3 different places without anesthesia. When Johnny goes to have it cast taken off, he's crying out because of the pain. The nurse has got the cast over his head saying, shut up or I'll bop you with this, right? He says it's unbelievable. He's driving in his car. Shortly after that, he smells the stench coming off his leg. He's got gangrene. You know, he can't believe this. He can't work. He's fighting with his wife. His 3 daughters are siding with his wife. They're not talking to him. They've rejected him. They're having a big fight. They're cooking water for spaghetti. He backs up on his crutches, bumps the big pot. The scalding water goes all over his wife. She sues. She gets possession of the house. He moves out to a storefront in Brooklyn. He says, imagine me, Johnny Delfredo, living in a storefront in Brooklyn with lawn furniture and orange crates for furniture. Me! Look, I didn't even know him. Shortly after that, he has a heart attack, and he doesn't want to spend the money on the bypass, so he's now popping heart pills and smoking true cigarettes. Look, I was thinking of jumping out of the car. I mean, we were only in New Jersey. What were we going to talk about for the next 2 hours to Kingston? Mainly what we talked about is how I should buy a big car when driving on the freeways. Big General Motors car, you know, maybe a Cadillac, maybe his. We get to the Rotary at Kingston, we turn left on 28, and oh, silence prevails. There's nothing to be said. We are suddenly in the winter beauty of the Catskills. Rolling snow-covered mountains, clear blue sky, powdered snow blowing through pine trees. Left on Shady Valley Road, down over the little metal bridge, past the Kidney House, and into the driveway of the little house that cried, which is completely filled with snow, and he just goes, boom, right into the snowbank. Boom, begins ramming it with the Cadillac. I think he's going to have a heart attack before I see the house. He leaves the Cadillac in the snowbank, and we charge up in thigh-deep snow. He opens the door, we go in, and I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know. What do I say about the house? I don't know what to tell. Why is that floor slanting, for instance, there? He goes, that's not slanting. And I believed him. I didn't want it to be slanting. And I said, what with the fireplace, for instance? That looks like it's sinking. It really looks like it's sinking. He goes, no, that's settled. We had a major settlement here in '58. We had a big flood come down off the mountain. The house shifted. It's settled. It's not going anywhere. I put a drainage ditch out back. Then he wants to show me all the good points of the house. First of all, the heating system. He has a furnace in the attic. Look, he throws a switch on the wall and these 5 heating ducts on the ceiling. Heat comes out and it kind of balls and clusters up there. Then he wants to show me the water is so wonderful. He's got the best well in the area. Of course, it's not on now because it's winter, so he's got it in a thermos, the water. I assume it's not Polar Springs or something. It's good. It's damn good. Well, we're drinking the water while waiting the heat to reach the floor, you know. And all the time I can hear Renee, chanting in my ear, "You can change the house, but you can't change the location." And I want to get outside in winter to see that winter location, because Johnny Delfredo has told me that the view is priceless from 2 sycamore trees down in the Intervale by the trout stream. And I rush out down the door, he behind me. I go down over Shady Valley Road, down along the Intervale, puffing and huffing, heading toward these 2 sycamore trees. I turn and see him behind me, running in thigh-deep snow, he puffing, popping heart pills, saying, "The doctor told me never to walk in deep snow again." And I get there, standing by the sycamore trees. And I look all the way down that valley. It was fantastic. It was like I wanted to buy that day for $35,000. And I turned, and there he was behind me, all watery-eyed, staring. And suddenly, my heart went out to him. I saw him as this blue-collar, working-class, contemporary King Lear. There he was, standing there, thigh-deep in the snow. All 3 of his daughters had turned against him. There he was, King Lear, standing there next to me, the fool. And I thought, how could a man that looks like this sell me a bum house? And we went for lunch on Route 28. And we begin the negotiations. I start out 27. No way, Mr. Spalding. No way. 27, I am insulted. Don't you know that buying property is simply a matter of taking money out of one pocket and putting it into the other, and taking money out of that pocket and putting it into the other? Now, I'd heard about that, I've read about that, but I'm going to tell you something we didn't see because the snow is covering it. You have a foundation problem. I know for a fact because my girlfriend has Polaroids. Oh, that, sure. No problem. I know about that. I was going to have that fixed. I tell you what I do. I know a local guy that'll do it for $1,200. So I get back down the city. I'm thinking, maybe if he has that foundation fixed, I'll get it. I think it's good. He keeps calling to see when I want to buy it, when I want to do the closing. Renee is going, "Don't deal with this man anymore. Give up right away. I don't like the way he sounds. I don't trust him. He sounds like my father." She says, "If you're going to be so stubborn and do it, at least get a contractor to check out the house." So I call up Phoenicia. I don't know any contractors. I get one recommended. He's going to come over for $35 just to look at the place. Renee and I rent a car. We drive up. There's no key. The guy's eyes are rolling in his head. Once again, she wedges the door open with the saw. We go in. The guy looks around and goes, "Jesus, I don't know. It's winterized?" I said, "Yes, it is." "But what's this furnace doing up in the attic?" Christ, I don't know. Look, I know the guy's desperate. I know that for a fact. I'd offer him $26,000, and I'd insure it real well for fire, and I'd pay someone $50 to burn it down. And I got back down to New York City, and God, I kept calling up the contractor up there, Ned Perkins, to see if he'd heard from Johnny Delfredo about fixing the foundation. Ned hadn't heard anything, so I called Johnny Delfredo, got his answering machine. Johnny called Renee, got her answering machine. I called up Ned Perkins. He wasn't in. He was the weak link in the communication triangle. He had no answering machine. So we're kind of bouncing it around. Suddenly, Johnny Delfredo, the owner of the house, finds out that I've been meddling by calling Ned Perkins to try to find out if he's going to fix the foundation. And Johnny calls Renee's answering machine and leaves this unbelievable, irate, kind of quite long message. I saved the tape. Now, you tell me if you would buy a house from a man that sounds like this.
Spalding, I received a message about Ned Perkins. And it's the second message I've received, and I'm very perturbed about the idea of you calling upstate constantly and spoiling it for me with these people up there who think that now they're the only people in the world that can do the job for me. I gave you a written agreement and signed it, and there's no reason in this world why you should doubt my integrity. I intend to follow through. There's been a great deal of rain up there, and they can't work when it's so wet. and it will be taken care of. But please do not call anymore up there because it's spoiling it for me, and it's making it cost, since it's costing me the money. I'm agreeing to pay for this out of my own. I think I should be the one to deal with them, don't you? Please go along with the fact that I did sign an agreement with you, and I have a written agreement with you, and there's no reason in this world why you should constantly think that somebody's trying to take advantage of you. I don't intend to do that. And I would appreciate it if you would leave the job to me of having the foundation work done, since I'm paying for it. It will be done, rest assured. And if it's not Ned Perkins, it will be someone else. But it will be someone of my choosing, and I will take the trouble to find out who's going to do it, and when they can do it, and when it's feasible for them to do it. They cannot work with their up to their ears in mud and expect the foundation to stay. They have to wait for the situation to dry up, and if I can't do it by June 1st, it will be done a month later. But it has to be given the time to dry up. The extensive amount of rain upstate has led to this kind of a thing. We've had an excessive amount of rain, and I'm sure you read the papers and know what's happening upstate. I will take care of it.
Listen to him hang up the phone.
So I bought the house. And I get up there. And I sit down on that Castro convertible couch. I felt no sense of ownership. I felt someone owned the house before me. Now I owned it. And someone would own it after me. I hoped. And now it was time to make a will. Now, the first thing that I wanted to do was claim the cabin as my own, get that furniture out of there. I called Howie, my shaman friend from Crumville, to come over and help me. I began loading the furniture into a shed out back because I was sure one day it would be valuable. He said, Spald, I think a yard sale is in order. There's some furniture that just never comes into vogue. The next thing I want to do is I want to open a post office box downtown, so I'll feel a part of the town. I go down there, open a post office box. I eat downtown at Brio's, downtown Phoenicia, because my refrigerator's broken. Something's wrong with the Freon. I guess it's a leak or something. And I walk back from downtown, and by then it's night. And I realize why I moved up there. It is so beautiful, so much wildness, so close to New York City. And I'm walking, there are no streetlights, and it's dark, and I can feel the woods breathing around me. I walk right past my house. I'm so enchanted by the dark, and I can hear the streams bubbling and the brooks flowing, and the bears thrashing, and the psychopaths coming, you know. And I get so nervous, I turn back for the house, and I see what looks like a full moon ahead, and I round the corner. It's the next door neighbor. He has one of those huge incandescent lamps, burglar lamps that go on automatic pilot as soon as the sun goes down and lights the entire neighborhood up like cinema 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can't see any satellites, comets, let alone stars. I went to bed depressed. The following day I woke up and I thought, cosmetics. Two guys come up, they say $5,000 for cosmetics. I think, wait a minute, I got a leak. As it is, I got a leak on my precious log beams. They're gonna rot. I need a handyman who's gotta just be handy with his hands around the house while I write. And I can go, hey, look out, you be handy now. I'm working over here. Those guys are so hard to find. I find this guy downtown. He hands me his card. It's a picture of him at about 6 years old with his head completely shaved. I don't know if it was early punk or ringworm or what, but he's got this saw, and he's got the saw upside down, and he's cutting a board on the edge of a Hyatt's root beer box. And underneath the card it says, Coot Dunbar, entrepreneur. And he comes up with a big bucket of tar, and he's swatting it on the chimney, and every time I tell him something, he can say, oh, I can grok that, oh, I can grok that, I can grok that. And he does. I say, fix my screens. He groks my screens for $100. Now I'm out on the porch. I mean, that's it. I'm out there. I'm cooking on an hibachi out on the porch. I'm drinking a lot out on the porch. I mean, it's like I bought this porch for $35,000, right? In the heart of the Catskills. I'm only going in to sleep in my bed, you know, at night, and I'm sleeping with a butcher knife by the bed because of the silence up there. Next day I wake up, I think, refrigerator day, refrigerator day. So I call up Starkey Jakes, the refrigerator man. Say, hello, Starkey. Hi. This is Mr. Gray, you know, the new homeowner up on Shady Valley Road. I think I've got a bit of a Freon problem here with my refrigerator. Oh, it's up Shady Valley Road. I'll be all about it. I'll be up there by early morning. So while I'm waiting for Starkey Jakes to come up, I see these two women coming up over the Hill and Dale affair with a little 10-year-old boy between them with a string tie like this on a July day. Oh, housewarming, housewarming. I don't see any cakes or pies, but I think they're coming to warm my house. And then she goes, hello, have you heard about the great crowd? No. I mean, that's part of why I left New York. What are you talking about? She said, and she opened her Bible, and she came a little further onto the porch, and she wanted to read to me just a few sections, and then she says, isn't it a lovely thought that we're going to live forever? And it's just around the corner. Adam and Eve didn't have children until they sinned. And until you can understand that, all your prayers will just be like putting paint on a house that's falling down. She's got my number. She's been standing out in the street watching the house fall, just choosing that message. She wants to sell me a book. Let your kingdom come. You know, just $1, the cost of the printing. I'll buy anything. I mean, I haven't got a library yet. I think I'll start it with this. You know, why not read it till Starkey Jakes comes to fix the refrigerator? So she sells it to me. I can't get past the first picture. It's great. I have a blow up here of God's kingdom come. Idyllic picture. Little black girl in the corner with a little purring leopard cub. Up above, Mama Leopard's content, not about to leap, sleeping on a branch. Mom and Dad with a little kid. Mom with her vegetables pouring out of her basket. Dad with his fruit and hoe. Dad sober. Happy, smiling. Down behind them, the third world people, knowing their place in the evolutionary ladder, slowly coming up the hill. Then behind them, a pond with ducks. And here, way in the corner, you can barely see it, but I'm obsessed with it. Houses with perfect foundations. And I'm like, here, question for discussion. What would God's kingdom mean to you if soon it brought the conditions pictured here? Foundations. While I'm obsessing on the foundations, Starkey Jakes arrived in his pickup truck. He's got his 10-year-old kid with him. It must be summer vacation. He walks in, looks around, and says, by cheese and crow. You didn't buy this place, did ya? I helped build it. Hope you didn't spend more than $26. Oh, why do you know old Diefenbach? I said, no, I don't. He said, why, old Diefenbach bought this whole area. He built all these houses. Why, he walked up behind you up there on that hill and folded his arms and spread his legs and said, you know, there's a sucker born every minute. I said, would you check my refrigerator? I think I have a Freon leak. He goes over, pumps it up with Freon, says, yep, it's worthless. Charges me $35, grabs his kid and leaves. So now I'm still eating out on the porch. I'm cooking on my hibachi, drinking a lot out on the porch. Taking it, as the Alcoholics Anonymous say, one day at a time. Next day I get up and I think, chimney day, it's chimney day, it's chimney day. So I had Jiminy Sweep, the chimney sweep, come over from Woodstock to check it out. Jiminy Sweep pulls in his pickup truck with his stovepipe hat, sticks a flashlight up my chimney and says, don't light a fire in there. Do not light a fire in there. Basically, your chimney is sinking and it's taking the house with it. You got 2 tons of rock down there, don't. You got little holes in there, flames will come out, set it on fire, don't light a fire in there. I said, well, wait a minute, now I know, can I put one of those metal sleeves down through and then hitch it up to a potbelly stove so that you see a bit? No. Don't you know? You can't put anything, can't fix anything, can't put doors in, windows in, any kind of metal sleeve or anything like that until you fix the foundation. Don't you know? It's not the location, it's the foundation. And he leaves. Now I'm thinking, this is it. This is the only thing I have to concentrate on. I get 2 locals up there. The guys say, yeah, they can fix it. For $2,400 hand-dug job. They go down 4 feet below the frost level, jack up the house, put in new cinder block, then put gravel against it so the gravel would drain the water, it wouldn't freeze, and push the cinder block, but they couldn't guarantee it. Why? Because basically the house is built on clay. So now I see this Hill and Dale affair is one great mound of clay with my house on it, slowly moving toward the trout stream on the other side of the road. And I just said, is there no way we can have a little permanence here? Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, you'd have to have a poured concrete foundation. We don't do that sort of thing. The guy to call is Franz Klinger. So I call up Franz Klinger. He comes over at sundown, folds his arms, spreads his legs, looks at the house and says, yep, we could do it. $8,000, and you've got to lose the porch. No, please, sir, I live on that porch. I live for that porch. Nope, don't be telling me my job. I've been here 30 years. You got to lose the porch. So now I'm thinking, if there's a sucker born every minute, there must be a lot more around. And I'm beginning to give up the idea of karma and beginning to think of the earth as an unjust place. And I go downtown to Ricky Riccadella, the real estate agent, to see if I can sell my house. And he says, Spalding Gray, hey, Spalding Gray, is that your real name? Whoa, with a name like that, I'd be governor of the state of New York. Where'd you get a name like that? With a name like Spalding Gray, what are you doing up there in a white trash house sinking there and built on clay? You know, I couldn't sell that house. I live here. People come after me. You think I want to keep living here. You put 10,000 to that, maybe we can talk. Next day, it's Sunday, and I wake up in the morning, and all I can hear is Harry Belafonte singing, house built on a weak foundation will not last. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And I flee tearing my hair out. I don't even have a radio or a record player. I get in my van, it won't start. It's Sunday. There are no mechanics to be had. The mechanic is at Brio's eating. I call him up for $35. He'll drive up 2 miles and cross a couple of wires. He happens to have a plumber riding shotgun with him. This old guy gets out, looks at the house, and says, did you buy this place? Yes, I did it. I admit it. Oh, no, don't take no offense. I'm just wondering if it's winterized. Yes, as a matter of fact, that's one of the things I'm proud of. It has a furnace in the attic. You're shitting me. Don't you know heat rises? You got a furnace up in the attic, you got a kind of liquid fuel problem, the liquid fuel drops over the wires like that, you got to heat up, no insurance at all. Whether you have it in a total loss situation, it's a total loss situation. It's a total loss situation. So I'm going after every dinner, after eating on the porch, I go for my evening walk, which has basically become like a drunken weave through the neighborhood. And finally, I get the courage to go up and look at the Diefenbach colony up behind my house. All this time I've been fantasizing that fox and deer are running loose up there. And I turn left and go up. And it's like a survivalist colony. All these other bungalows in different states of disrepair. The foundations being dug up. Hurricane fences with barbed wire on top of them, around them. Huge plastic Humpty Dumptys reclining on the front lawn. Pink flamingos. Camouflage Jeeps. I stagger back down to my place to open another beer on the Castro convertible couch. And God, what is happening to me, I think, because I believe in karma. Not millennia of karma like the Buddhists, but earth karma. You know, what goes around comes around. You know, what you reap, you sow. Every action has a reaction. What did I do to get this reaction, you know? I'm saying, wait, am I a loser? I mean, can you become a loser late in life like getting asthma at 45? I mean, I never thought of myself as a loser. I knew I didn't have the American go-for-it spirit. I first knew I didn't have the American go-for-it spirit when I was about 8 years old. I was at camp up in Maine, and I saw this cat carrying a chipmunk in its mouth. The cat was about 15 feet away from me, and I knew that cat was going to take the chipmunk under the little cabin there and kill it and eat it. And just before the cat went under the cabin, it turned with the chipmunk in its mouth, and the chipmunk and I made absolute direct human eye-to-eye contact. And the chipmunk just went, help. You can save me if you go for it now. If you go for it, you can save me. I didn't move. Those little chipmunk's eyes still drive me to drink every day at 5. Then they sent me away to Freiburg Academy so I could try to develop the American go-for-it spirit there. They made me captain of the soccer team. It was the championship season. We had the big playoffs against Holderness Academy, and I was captain of the team, and I had to give my team the big pep talk on that big day. I remember that bright autumn day, walking down out of that yellow school bus, the entire team lined up, and I just said, okay, guys, you want to win, right? Everyone wants to win. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go for it. We lost. So here I was, sitting on my Castro convertible couch, opening more beer, reading every self-help book I could get out of the Phoenicia library. You know, The Road Less Traveled, The Age of Anxiety, The Meaning of Anxiety, I'm Okay, You're Not, Guilt Without Sex. And I come upon this book that stops me. Because the color of the letters are the same color as my house, and they're falling apart, just like my house. So I know this is meaningful. This book saved me. Jeremy Rifkin's Entropy. Because it teaches me that it's not all my fault. Because entropy is the second law of thermodynamics that says that matter and energy can only be changed in one direction, from usable to unusable, from order to chaos. I mean, Jeremy says, if you want to understand it quite simply, you can do a little experiment called the entropy experiment with a deck of cards. Just order the deck with the highest to the lowest suit. And then now you see how quickly that happened? Now try to imagine how long it would take me to get down and reorder all of those cards. That's entropy. And I'm reading through the book, finding these incredible little telling passages. Consider for a moment the numbers of each species that are required to keep the next highest species from slipping toward maximum entropy. 300 trout. And I get very excited about this because I live right across from a trout stream, and I think this has to do with me. 300 trout are required to support one man for a year. The trout, in turn, must consume 90,000 frogs, that must consume 27 million grasshoppers that live on 1,000 tons of grass. God, it sounds like a circus. You'd think I'd notice 90,000 frogs around the house. I mean, I saw the trout. I was the man. Then I turned to this incredible quote that just about blows me off the porch. It's in French. I can't do the French justice. Something les gens horror not da pas history. This old French proverb, which means, quote, happy people don't make history. Did I do it? Did I really do it? Did I really buy this piece of shit house just to make a monologue about it? Sick. And then I opened to this consoling page, page 8. It should be emphasized that the entropy law deals only with the physical world, where everything is finite, and where all living things must run their course and eventually cease to be. I have another drink on that one. It is a law governing the horizontal world of time and space. It is mute. It is mute, however, when it comes to the vertical world of spiritual transcendence. Spiritual transcendence? What in God's name is that, I wonder? And I rush back to the Phoenicia library to get every book I can get on spiritual transcendence, and I come up with this doozy, Open Secrets by Walt Anderson. It's about Tibetan Buddhism. Look, I'd always been interested in Tibetan Buddhism, but I never could read the text. They were too esoteric. This is the Reader's Digest of Tibetan Buddhism. It's so readable. I open it to Buddha's last words. There's a whole chapter on Buddha's last words. There were so many of them. I choose his first last words. And he says, all things are perishable. Everything that comes together must eventually come apart. I've got a Buddhist house. And I'm thinking of advertising it as that, you know? I'm wondering what American Buddhists can afford it. Then I go on to the next page and I realize that what they're talking about here is there's nothing too negative that you can't convert into positive energy. It's just a matter of finding the lesson in the experience. I think, what is the lesson I've learned from buying this house? It's that I should never buy anything in my life. I wasn't meant to be a property owner. I was not meant to be a householder. I must renounce everything and become a monk. And I open my 5th beer and I'm really thinking of becoming a monk, and they have 3 paths of monkdom in here, and I'm deciding which one I am going to do the next following day. Okay, I'm going over it. The first path is the path of renunciation. The path of renunciation for the celibate Spartan vegetarian. Just going to read over all three before I make a hasty decision. Number 2 is live like other people. Live like other people, get married, and obey the laws. That's good. Number 3 is the Vajrayana path, the diamond vehicle, the tantric path for the wild outcasts. Become free of lust through satisfying it. All the no-nos are praised: sex, alcohol, and meat eating. I will take half a dozen. And I'm thinking, how can I get in touch with someone that knows about this tantric path? And then it occurs to me, because it's right on the magazine rack, right by my toilet, those old hypnotizing eyes reaching out and taking me in, that old reprobate, Sri Bhagwan Rajneesh. I had been to see him in India when he had an ashram there in the sexiest sounding town in India, Pune. And now he had moved from Pune, India, and started Rancho Rajneesh, an ashram in Oregon about the size of the state of Rhode Island. And I was thinking of renouncing everything and going out there. A friend of mine told me that I had to get out there for the great rainbow gathering in July. She said she was out there before, and never as a woman had she ever felt free to move through a space without any fear like that. Men swinging out of trees with great erections saying, "Do you want to make love, babe? Do you want to make love? Do you want to make love?" She could say yes, no, maybe, no hassle, walk on, sweet, sweet, sweet. It was great. I pictured myself committing sexual suicide. I saw my mind going, my entire body turning into this great galloping giant peener, running after this dripping coos, running ahead of me on little high heels like Minnie Mouse. And she said it was fantastic. She said there was a couple making love in a red pop tent at night, and the entire ashram was breathing with them, and they all came together. Ha, 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 ha! Let your kingdom come! But at the end of the summer, Bhagwan spoke for the first time in 2 years and proclaimed that AIDS was the new plague. And I thought, those days are over. Those sweet, sweet days are over. And I burned the book. And I went back to my new Bible, Open Secrets, and I read this last quote, which is all I needed. You are perfectly welcome to pursue worldly success while on your way to enlightenment. Permission, if I ever heard it. Spiritual materialism. What was I doing thinking about renunciation? I could still be holy and do the thing I was trained to do and make money. I would go to Hollywood and be an actor. So Renee and I got a cheap ticket out to Hollywood. I got out there, no judgment. I went up for whatever my agent sent me up for, and the first thing they sent me up for was St. Elsewhere. They wanted me to play an educated Bowery bum. You know, a guy that'd been in big business and dropped out, was living in the Bowery. They asked me if I would please not eat and not shave for 5 days. Well, I said, look, I'll not shave, but I'll stop eating when I sign the contract. Next thing they send me up for, Johnny Carson's show. Fantastic. Johnny hears I'm in L.A. Wants to have his one of his reps kind of grill me first to see if I'd be good for the show. I mean, I don't have to play an educated Bowery bum. I can go on the show and be me, just talking to Johnny. And so they have to grill me first, and they're running me through 15 hours worth of monologues. The representative's taking everything down shorthand, stopping me at certain stories. He said, look, fine. You're wonderful, but you're not a very good self-editor. You keep going from light to dark. Will you just keep it light? Because this isn't going to be fun. You think the Johnny Carson's show is fun? No. Ed McMahon and Doc Severance are going to be over you like 2 giant American bald eagles. The rating people are going to be out there. Look, you got to have 5 questions and 5 answers. Johnny's got to know the 5 questions and the 5 answers. It's a total setup. Why don't you watch it for about a week? You do have a television, don't you? I said, well, I have access to one. Oh. Love you, love you, love you. You have access to one. So I do it. I actually rent one. But every night, just a little before the monologue or somewhere into Johnny's monologue, I just... So at the end of the week, He calls me, the representative, and now it's like Rumpelstiltskin. I mean, it's like the 5 questions, the 5 answers. I really hadn't been thinking about it. He said, have you given any thought? And I said, I really haven't, but how's this for an opener? Why is this night different from any other night? He didn't laugh. He was Italian. Renee got completely frustrated with Hollywood, wanted to fly back to the East Coast. I was pleading with her, please, just stay till I strike the gold. Things weren't looking good. She flew back without me. I stayed behind for a last-ditch effort. I was about to leave, give up the ghost, and the big break came. Simon Balsner, famous television director, calls me up and says they want me and me only, starring opposite Farrah Fawcett in a new ABC television movie of the week called Leftover Life to Kill. It's about a New England painter. I'm going to play. Last I can use my New England accent. That falls in love with his model. They get married. The New England painter's mother has a stroke. He doesn't want to send her to a stroke farm. He brings her into the home. But he is unable to deal with his mother's illness. And his wife, Dale, played by Farrah, nurses the mother back. That's the story. $30,000 for 4 weeks' work. You don't have to sign any long contract. And I thought I could do a good job. It was a good time to test my acting abilities. It had been so long. And I wanted to do it. And I went in for it. And I went in, and there was Simon Balsner sitting behind his big casting desk, wall-to-wall gray carpeting. And in comes Farrah. I didn't want to stare. I'd never really seen her before. It was like the first date canteen night. She comes and sits right on the edge of the couch next to me with like 2 kids. And he goes, great. You two look wonderful together. I love it when the talent first meet and you can see the chemistry going between them. Farrah, you can go. Spalding, you can stay. Now, I want you, there's no doubt in my mind, but ABC Television has to approve of you, so you have to go tomorrow and audition for the Maven of Century City. Silvio, you want to come down here, please? He calls his driver, Silvio, down. Take Spalding over and get his physical, will you? And I passed the physical. Basically, it was a Dr. Feelgood on the corner of Hollywood and Vine. He pumps me up with a blood pressure and takes my blood pressure and sends me home. That's it. And I'm pacing now at the motel. I am so nervous. This money freaking me out. $30,000. I am so guilty about that. I'm thinking of sending away for a Peace Corps application and promise myself that I will do it immediately as soon as I do this film, right? I'm pacing. While I'm pacing, I get a call. It's the director, Simon Balsner, on his portable phone. And he's calling in. It sounds like the transatlantic cable. Shh. Hey, big guy. Hey, I hope you're getting plenty of exercise up there. You know, there's a big basketball scene in this thing. Get out there and dribble. Get out there and get in shape. Stay off those drugs. We don't want you looking like a self-defeated schlub. So I do want to do everything he says, and I rush out and I buy this shirt, this very shirt. It's a Claiborne all cotton. I think this is Hollywood's idea, New England painter. And I've got it, and it's all crisp, and I come in the next day to meet the Maven of Century City, and I'm nervously rolling and re-rolling, and in she comes. She whips through the door with this huge, gigantic designer muumuu rippling over her like a great circus tent, disguising that unimaginable flesh underneath. And she comes breezing into the room. I mean, she looks like the Duchess of California. And she goes, hello, Mr. Gray. I am the Maven of Century City. So I have to read this very crucial scene opposite the casting director. It's the scene where I have to go in and look at my mother and see her in this condition in bed, and then not be able to cope with it and come out and turn to Dale, my wife, played by Farrah, who's being played by the casting director. And Simon takes me aside to give me courage and notes and says, Spalding, please don't act with this, all right? Just don't push it at all for them. Just be neutral. Just take it from the heart. Take it from the neutral heart. So I do it. I say, I went in there and I stood over my mother's bed and I looked down and I felt nothing. No remorse, or shame, or guilt. I felt like a piece of the pie was missing. Please, I will do anything you say, but don't send me back into that room again. Don't let my mother's condition come between us. Please, Dale, don't send me back into that room again. Thank you very much. Would you go outside, please, while we talk about you? And I went out and I sat in this huge waiting room with 40-foot-high ceilings, a glass coffee table with no books, not even People or Us. And I had forgot my entropy book, and I waited, and I waited. until suddenly Simon Balsner burst out and said, "Balls in our court, balls in our court, balls in our court. Can't say we get the green light yet, but balls in our court." Will you translate, please, Simon? They liked you. Basically, they liked you. The only problem was what? The only problem was they just didn't think you were passionate enough in the role. What do you mean? Why didn't someone stop me? For instance, I could if you've given me some direction. No. No, I mean, if I can be passionate, I can play passionate. I stood over my mother's bed. I looked down. I felt nothing. No remorse. No shame. No guilt. Please, don't let her get between out. Stop that cat. Stop that cat! Grab that chipmunk! Save the little creature! Kick the ball! The game is ours! Go for it, guys! Win that game! Win that game! Win that game! Spalding, please, no. No, that's not exactly what I mean. Maybe I said the wrong thing, actually. What they're upset about is they want to know if the camera loves you. You see, they're not buying your flesh. They saw you in the flesh. They're buying your image. They'd like to see you on tape. They'd like to know if you love Farrah, too. They're a little upset that Farrah didn't come in today. You do love her, don't you? I do. I think I do. I don't know her, but I love her. That's a good point. That's a good point. You don't know her, and I think we should get together and get to know each other for some sushi tomorrow. We'll have a sushi lunch. Then after we have the sushi, we're going to do the big honeymoon scene. Get it on tape. Get it over to ABC. I don't think it'll be any problem at all. So you rest up and come back tomorrow. My God, this is the 3-day audition. I'm into my 3rd day. I'm trying to get rid of this shirt. Now I think if I'm going to do this big honeymoon scene with Farrah, I've got to look a little sexier than this. And anyway, this is kind of like my version of Hollywood's version of the New England Painter. I don't even know if they want me in this shirt. I'm beginning to feel kind of weird in it. So I rush out and try to get something in the neighborhood sexy. I come upon this black Korean shark shirt, I guess. I mean, it says made in Korea and it's got a shark on it, so I don't know what else you'd call it. And I put it on. And I come into the office, and Simon says, you've gone cash. And he passes me a basketball, which he's always spinning in his lap, right at me, happens to have my name on it. Breaks a couple of fingernails, bounces off. He says, hey, you're not in very good shape, are you there, boy? Hey, gotta practice a little bit. We get into the audition, and Simon looks through the viewfinder and says, all right, loves you, loves you, loves you, camera loves you. Great. You look fantastic. So this is the big scene. This is the honeymoon scene. We've just gotten married, made love innumerable times, and now I'm sketching her like old days. And I have my script, which I'm pretending is a sketch pad, and I have a paperclip, which I'm pretending is charcoal. Getting into it. And it's a simple scene. I have to start sketching and look up and catch Farrah's eye and go, got your eyes full, babe? What are you looking at? He goes, you. And I say, what do you want? She goes, you. And I say, but you've already had me. She says, not enough. Never enough. I put down the script and move right in on her and take her in my arms and sing, a kiss is just a kiss. Ah-dee-da-da-da-dee. And that's it. That's the scene. So we start out. Simon says, Spalding, come here, put down the thing. What is this with the sketching? Go for her, go for her. Don't you find her attractive? Yes. All right, go. So we go through it. Got your eyes full? You. What do you want? You. But you've already had me. Never enough. Da-da-da-da-da, da-dee-da-da-da. We do it about 4 times. Simon says, great, we got it. I think we can do something with that. Farrah, you can go. Spalding, you can stay. You want to see some of the tape? Yeah, I thought I would. Maybe I'd learn something about television acting, really. And I watched the tape, and I learned a lot about it. Farrah's face was still. I mean, it was like composed. It was like a Zen mask. You could project what you were feeling on it. She wasn't emoting a lot. Very still, very precise. On the other hand, my face was like this protein amoebic mass. But Simon said, I think we can do something with it. We're going to fly you back first class to the East Coast, Bed. You do what you have to do up there for the summer. You'll be back at the end of August. We'll do 1 week rehearsal and go into production for September. They flew me back first class on American. I thought I was so excited. I thought I was going to crash in the Grand Canyon. We got back. It's 4th of July. Renee picks me up at Newark Airport. We drive up for the traditional opening of the house. She's cleaning up the mouse shit. I'm running around trying to get the plumber to fix the pipe because there was a leak the winter before and I just shut it off. And he's running around going, garbage! Garbage! This house is garbage! Nothing's up to code, it's garbage! And in the middle of this domestic scene, Simon Balsner calls from Hollywood saying, hi, babe, hey, I hope the guy we cast in this role is as good as you. Stuff you did on that video, you could never repeat. Let me just tell you, though, you know, my mind, I want to be completely frank with you, you're rusty as an actor. And what I mean by that is, you can continue with your monologues, fine, I love them. Or you can give them up and come out here to Hollywood and start working or acting again. As far as taking directions goes, I kept playing that little section over and over again where I told you to move in on Farrah and just go for it. And every time I noticed, just before you were going for it, you had this little kind of perplexed expression come right between your 2 eyes here, a quality that I can only describe as thinking. And until you can let that go, you see, and just go for it. All right, hey, have a good life. We'll work together one day. Bye, babe. Good, take care. Well, I thought, gee, you know, this is no surprise. I've heard these stories before, and now I'm in the middle of one. And really, I should really count my blessings. Look at all I have to be thankful for. I've got a fantastic girlfriend, a great porch, wonderful water once the thing gets hooked up. And I went for a run down Shady Valley Road to kind of run off my anxieties and loosen up. I came back all rubbery. All I wanted was a simple glass. A generic glass of that clean, clear well water, and the plumber just hitched up the pipe, and I turned on the faucet, and this reeking odor of death came out of the faucet. I just ignored it. I drank that water right down. It tasted like the entrails of a dead animal. I couldn't believe it. I see my well. I rush outside. The well isn't up to code. It's got a little cap that's sprung loose. Some depressed raccoon in the middle of the February doldrums has hurled himself into my well, or some whole family of raccoons, I don't know. I go back, I'm trying to shave and stay calm, you know. Oh, so I drank a little decomposing animal matter. Big deal. You know, what disease could I get from that? I thought I knew all the diseases. Rabies! I threw away the race. I ran to the telephone to call the Board of Health. The rabies expert happened to be in that day. Said, Mr. Gray, hey, calm down. Do you know what rabies is? It's hydrophobia. Really. Now, what would an animal dying of fear of water be doing in its last moments jumping down into a well? And furthermore, Mr. Gray, you know, lots of city slickers don't realize this, but a well is really just a big hole in the ground. Now, if you want to start some very expensive and painful shots into your stomach this afternoon, we can oblige. But really, Mr. Gray, don't you think life is far too short to be worrying about catching rabies from a well? Almost.